What is loneliness? By the opposite, we can approach its meaning: companionship, fellowship, and communion. But is it not deceiving? I can be around people and yet inwardly bleeding, with people meeting and yet secretly seeking. I have more siblings than most people, and yet feel like a single child, walking along just like a lonely moose in the wild. I feel like an orphan despite of having parents, travel the world and yet have not seen anything like medieval peasants. Yes, being on your own is being stress-free. You take your time like in a long chess party. You enjoy the silence, flexibility and liberty, no one causing trouble or noise in your vicinity. But with nobody sharing the best moments, everything you do turns into nonsense. I wish we would be like the Na'vi in the movie Avatar 2, where they say to each other, "I see you." Once again, the opposite of loneliness is not having people around. You can be in a crowd and yet not being found, not being seen, not being wanted. Actually, nobody even needs me, which makes me daunted. I see today's time as a contact-rich relationship poverty. Is the growth of loneliness despite of social media not a concerning novelty? And do I even have to be loved, wanted and seen? Does it not change the whole perspective of the scene? Who has to know my worth except myself? Is it not this very independent dignity that makes up my wealth? Maybe this feeling of loneliness is not bad for my health, and not even as I thought a cry for help. Maybe, instead for looking to be accepted just temporarily and conditionally, I should seek for the one who does it eternally and implicitly. At least it all shows me that my innate desire for fellowship is still intact, for so we were created. In fact, it is not good for man to be alone, is what God in the Bible stated. Fellowship is not bad, I do not depict it as such, and yet sometimes it just gets too much, so that I simply seek the hush. There are times where you forget who you are, but the answer is not far. You need others to remind you of that. Yet again, sometimes you only know where you are belonging at. Either way, loneliness shall teach you something, that you do not live for others and have to prove nothing. Stop pretending, put down the mask, enjoy yourself and have a blast. Would you do the same things even if nobody would ever see them? Remember, even if no one discovers it, a gemstone remains a gem. My friend, sometimes you need to be alone, and alone does not mean being on your phone. Expose yourself to loneliness, face it, embrace it. Your stress will become only less. Many of us cannot stand the silence, because their thoughts start having a wild dance. However, to me silence is not loud, it is the best music. Better one handful with tranquility than two handfuls with toil, and the former is what I do pick. Just if you know who you truly are in your time alone, your personality in public will be to everybody known. It is easy to be around people and be entertained, but he who laughs and rejoices alone has true riches attained. Loneliness feeds itself. If you learn to be alone, you want it more and more. One of the best activities is simply to watch the waves from the shore. Loneliness equals the ocean in the following metaphor. The deeper you dive, the more you discover what you never saw. Give yourself some time to think. This is a skill which is nearly extinct. Loneliness is necessary for healing. Being alone and being at peace is a wonderful feeling. Death is a lonely thing, but life is too. I am never alone regardless what I am going through. I don't need to feel him. He is always near. While I am not always in the present moment, my God is always here. Other people just make me feeble. I do not fear to be alone, for it is peaceful. So am I, enjoying solitude and merely the absence of other voices. Deciding for a quiet single life was one of my life's best choices.